hi you guys. So like, excuse like the look. I know there's like bra straps hanging out over here. I just like last minute felt like filming a quick update for you guys. Just because there's so much been going on that I haven't like shared with you guys for the past week, and I apologize for that. It's Friday the 27th today, and I think my last update was like exactly a week ago, and yeah, since then things have been quite the roller coaster, so I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible, but catching you up on a week of like fertility stuff is not going to be easy to do it quick, but I'll try my best. So first of all, this has nothing to do with fertility, but as you can probably notice, there is like something happening here, and it's not all the way down here anymore, which like happened like last week at some point. My mom thought because of what happened, I just needed some like change and just to like bring my mood back up. So she decided to give me like a salon day, and I decided to like chop everything off. I'm in like a love-hate relationship with it right now, just because I haven't had short hair like this like ever, I don't think. I didn't mean to go as short, it just kind of happened because there was a little bit of miscommunication between me and the stylist. But anyway, long story short, haha, get it. This is where I'm at right now, kind of like shoulder length. Hoping that it kind of grows a little bit longer fairly fast, because it's at an awkward length right now, but I don't want to go shorter because I don't want to go shorter, and like I just need it to grow. Anyway, back to fertility. All right, so if anything just changed right now, like the way that you see things, maybe a little bit more this way, I don't know. My camera obviously did stop working, but I figured out what it was, so it's all fixed. Okay, so let's get into what actually happened, besides like this crazy haircut. So what happened was on Monday, it was cycle day 14, I believe, and sorry, Abby's like biting at me here because I'm sitting on the floor. So we went on Monday, which is cycle day 14, I believe. Yeah, 14. And it was my doctor with the nice nurse that we had at the beginning. And as we like arrived, it was crazy busy, even though we were like really early. So anyway, yeah, we were like one of the first people last week, which made it go by so quick. But on Monday, for some reason, we were like second or third. There was already people waiting in the building at like 6:45, which was crazy. So anyway, it was like we went in, and it is like basically how the office looks is like you walk down like a long hallway, and on the right is where the pre-rooms are, where you get like undressed and ready for the ultrasound room behind it. So we walked down the hallway, and the first time we were in like the first room, so it's always like 2 rooms per ultrasound room. So they'll put like one couple or one person in one room, and they can get undressed and already go in. Then the second couple or person already gets ready in the second room, and they just wait for the okay to go in whenever that couple's done. And then there's 2 more change rooms down the hallway that belong to that little ultrasound room that we've seen last time. Now, as you can probably tell from like the like videos, the second room was obviously not as nice, and like I said, bad experience with that doctor that time. So because we were late, we were like the third people in, which meant like the first couple second and third meant we were in the other room, which was already, I don't know if you guys ever get that, like where you're just like, you know, like you instantly get a bad feeling about something, and that's what I had. I was like, I don't want to be in that room, like it's such a, like bad stuff always happens in that room. So anyway, nothing we could do about it. So we got like, she told me again, like get undressed from the waist down and just wait until like we're ready to call you in. So I got to like sit in there, and I'll try and insert some footage, but like I don't want this video to be too long. And with her, she did actually take her time. Matt tried to film longer, so I don't know if the video will be too long, but maybe I'll just insert like a clip or something.
Why don't we take one more look? If they're really the same, then I don't think you're gonna ovulate on this one.
Okay.
I mean, I can always make you ovulate in terms of give you a trigger, but if it's if they stay like this small, like the chance of having a mature egg small would be kind of a waste of your money. And if we cancel the cycle, then basically the next time around I'd get you to do injectables. Like, would be the only way.
So if I usually, because I've always ovulated, like cycle day 21 since my last miscarriage, so does that mean, like, if it's that late, it's still a no-go, or does that mean they just never grow to that size that they're supposed to be, or?
If you ovulate on that day, it'd be more like interesting for me to see, do they actually get big enough? You know, because then if that's the case, I mean, we can give you a trigger, do the IUI, like that would be fine. So we can wait a little longer. It's just a matter of, again, with your kids, the longer we leave it, like if you happen to ovulate earlier, it's just a matter of, is that follicle going to be a good, like a decent sized follicle? But I mean, it's not a bad idea to keep monitoring. I'd bring you back probably on, what is today?
Today's Monday.
Today's Monday, so I'd bring you back kind of like Wednesday or Thursday.
So, anyway, so on that day, basically what happened, let's see. So, on cycle day 11, like the Friday that we went in, that doesn't make any sense. The Friday that we went in, I had a 10 and a 9 on the left side. Sorry, I'm like reading off my phone. And an 8 on the right side. And my lining was at almost an 8, which was that thing that we had on the Friday, like the last video you guys saw. And then that day, like on Monday, she measured and she said that, like, at the end of it all, it was like my left ovary or my left follicles were at an 11 and 9 and a 7, and then on the right side it was a 10 and an 8. So basically on the left side the biggest growth I had was 1 millimeter, and on the right side I had a 2 millimeter growth, which was devastating. Like, I nearly started crying, like laying there, because in 3.5 days, almost 4 days, my eggs grew like a millimeter, if that, and that's not a good sign, especially being on like 2.5 milligrams higher of Femera than I was before. So at that point my doctor was like, yeah, things, to be honest, aren't looking very great. I don't think you're going to be like ovulating, or your eggs won't be good, or there's like bigger issues going on that you're ovulating with like really, really small eggs, which could be causing the miscarriages and stuff. And it was just such a devastating appointment because we had such high hopes with the higher Femera and just everything going on that we were like, we thought that was it. Like, so we talked to her about it for a while, and it's funny, like Bailey's like stretching out, scratching at the table. So we talked to her about it, and at first she suggested that we go into injectables. Like, she could give me like 5 to 10 days of injectables to try and grow my eggs for the cycle. But then she also said, because she doesn't know me, she doesn't really want to start mid-cycle. So if anything, we should just cancel the cycle and just focus on the new one and then do injectables for the new one. Now, for those of you that like don't know, injectables for us around here like are probably around like $1,500, if not closer to $2,000. Plus like another $400 for the monitoring that we would have had to have done. And yeah, it was just not a good feeling. And so as soon as they were like, okay, so we'll come back on Wednesday. So like from Monday to Wednesday, like 2 more days. And she was like, we'll see how like your eggs are looking. Let's make sure everything's okay before we like give up. And just so we know what's actually happening for next cycle, so that we can kind of prevent what's happening right now. As soon as we were done, I got up, we got back into the room, and I just started crying. Like, I was just like, I was trying to get dressed, and I just broke down crying, and Matt was trying to like comfort me, and he's like, don't give up on me yet, don't give up on me yet, we don't know what's happening. And I'm like, the way the doctor sounded was already like, yeah, it's probably like just a wrote off canceled cycle. Let's just give up on it. And so that didn't help me much, because I was like, so if she thinks that's it, then that's it, right? So Monday we left the appointment, and it was like a very sad day. I went home, I went straight to bed. I think I slept for a couple of hours and just like hung out on the couch all day, and I didn't want to move, and it was just like a waiting game until Wednesday. And so Wednesday, well, when I talked to her, I don't know if you guys heard if I inserted a video or not. It was her again, because she was going to see me again on Thursday. and I asked which doctor would be in, and I said I had a bad experience with that guy because he would have been back in on Thursday, and I'm like, no, sorry. So it's either going to be Wednesday or Friday, but I don't want to see him. And we did have a talk about why and stuff like that. So she said Wednesday because she would be in again, so we could talk to her about it. So on Wednesday, which was cycle day 16 then, yes, I believe so. So, we went in, and we went in early. I think we left the car at like 6:30, and we were in the building at like 6:35 waiting to go up the elevators. So we were the first people there shortly after the other couple, and that other lady showed up too, the same that we had with us on Monday. And so it was nice to know that we were first this time and we wouldn't have to wait. And so the whole feeling was already different because that meant like I had my doctor on Wednesday, and being the first couple meant we would get to go into that room that we enjoy so much. So we went in, we were the first ones. My doctor came in and she was like, okay, so let's just see what's happening. And at that point, I had written this cycle off, to be honest. Like, obviously, I was praying for, like, a miracle to happen, but I was like, I'm not going to get my hopes up because I'm just going to get hurt. And as I'm laying there and Matt's filming, I'll try to insert some of this because it's, like, quite wow. They were huge. Like, to us, all of a sudden, like, she moved it around and you could see, like, one big blob. And I'm like, what was that, right? And she's like, I think we have some growth happening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, my tears started, like, flowing. Matt, like, was holding my shoulder and just pinched me and just started smiling. And, so she was like, no, like, there's definitely some growth. It just seems like your eggs are taking a long, long time, which is explaining your long cycles.
Okay, so you do have a couple. You have one follicle on this side, one follicle on the other side.
What size are they?
This is left and one on the left, one on the right. Your lining is a little bit bigger than it was last time.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was looking at my chart online and it went from like an 8mm down to 4 when you measured it, and I'm not like, what causes that?
Well, sometimes it just depends on the view or the image that you get. It's difficult to see. So, I mean, we can basically keep going and see. In terms of follicles, they're definitely, those two are definitely bigger than they were last time.
Okay.
So it just might be a long cycle for you, basically.
Usually is.
Yeah, it usually is.
On much result.
But there's still a chance then, or? Oh wow, one's all the way up to 15.
15,
Well, yeah, the 13 and 12, like those are the two. So I think we should just keep going, essentially. So I'll bring you back on Friday.
All right, so that brings us to Friday today, which means we had another ultrasound today. Today's cycle day 18, like I said, and we got there at like 6:30, and we went into the building right away because we didn't want to waste any more time, just because we wanted to be the first ones again. Sorry, I'm like trying to readjust, and so we were the first ones there again, and then shortly after us, it was funny, like the same people from before came again, that lady that was always by herself, and then the other couple. So it was nice to know again that we were first, and honestly, like, to me, at some point today, I always was hoping to have like enough of a growth to start things over the weekend, but honestly, any growth would have been like fine with me because I just wanted to see things actually happening and us still having a chance and not being out. And obviously, like, just because there was some growth on Wednesday didn't mean that they would grow, like, keep growing. They could have stopped or just slow down or whatever. So anyway, the nice nurse was there again today, like the one that we just love, and she called us in, and we were, like I said, the first ones in that room again too. So we got to like undress again or whatever, or I had to, and we went into our little favorite room, and I'll try to put like some pictures or the video in there for this because it was such a big deal today.
pretty good. So, yeah, you have 2 follicles on the right.
Okay.
That are nice size. There's one that's kind of growing on the left, but I think I'm going to go with those 2 on the right. Because they're really nice size, actually.
It was such an emotional thing because she was moving like the wand around, obviously, and she measured my lining, which I didn't get to see because I was still trying to like prop my head up to be able to see the screen, and that's usually like the first thing that they measure. And then she moved to like one of my ovaries. I can't tell you which one was first. I don't remember. And all of a sudden, this huge blob pops up, and Matt's like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm pretty sure you can probably even hear that in the camera, because he's like, it's big. And I'm like, yeah, it does look kind of big. But last time they looked big, too, and they weren't that big, so we'll see. And they started, like, she started measuring, but I couldn't see the measurements, and Matt's like, oh, like, wow. And my doctor seemed, like, very confident, and she was like, oh, wow. And I'm like, is it good? Is it, like, what's happening? She was like, no, they're growing. I'm like, okay, that's a good sign, but how big? At the appointment before, she said that she wanted them at least at a 16. She could consider triggering at 16, even though it wouldn't be like the greatest thing, but she would, just because of how messed up my cycles are. And so, yeah, at that point, I'm like just thinking like, oh my gosh, is she going to say that we get to trigger, or what's happening? So she then went to the other side, and there was an even bigger egg, and I'm like, wow. And then she was done, and she was like, okay, so, everything looks amazing. Like, she kept saying how great everything was, and she, like, did a complete 180 to being, like, completely down on Monday, like we were, to, like, you really responded. Like, it's doing what it's supposed to do, and you had some great growth and everything. And then she was first, like, we looked at the screen, and I was trying to, like, see what the numbers were, but I was so nervous and, like, so excited at the same time. I didn't know what I was looking at. And she was like, yeah, no, they're up there. So one was close to like 21 millimeters, I think. And then the other one was at like a 17 or 18. So well over 16 with the one, and the other one is like a decent size right behind. She said by the time I ovulated, it could have even grown even more. And so her first thing was to come back again tomorrow and trigger tomorrow, and then do the IUI on Sunday. Now, something again told me to ask to trigger today, because I asked her, I was like, what are the chances with an egg that's already like 20 or 21 millimeters? Like, I don't want to ovulate on my own tomorrow and then miss it. Like, we're so close. And she's like, well, to her, it doesn't really make a difference. So if it makes me feel better, we'll just trigger today and do IUI tomorrow. And when she said that, it was like an instant, like, oh my gosh, it's happening. And then an, oh my gosh, it's happening. Like the trigger shot and everything. Like, you think about it and you want it done, but then it's like the first time you're doing it and you're so scared. So, anyway, she told us, like, just get ready, go back in the waiting room, and the pharmacist and nurse will come grab me to do the shot. And I was like, I was so relieved that they were going to do it, because that meant, like, we didn't have to perfectly time it and remember how to do it and be nervous about it. It was just going to be done. And so we went back into the waiting room and just kind of sat there for a bit. Then the pharmacist came and just asked me about, like, billing and stuff. And then the nurse came, a nice nurse that we loved. She took us into, like, a small little room and explained everything. And I'll put the video in there, too, so that you guys can actually see it. She just, like, mixed it all together, which Matt didn't film, because she didn't want to be on camera, like, any, like, higher than this, which is fine. And so I think he only filmed the shot, which I'll put in. So yeah, she just mixed it together, explained everything, explained again how tomorrow was gonna go.
So just cleaning this tummy here.
It's only small.
It's very, very tiny.
Do people complain that it hurts?
I mean, any poke will hurt, right? Just gonna grab here. Okay, going in. And then the thing I just want you to do is I just want you to keep on breathing, okay? Mm-hmm. And then it's going in. I'm almost done. Just gonna wait a couple seconds there. There. Okay.
Whoa, yeah. And so, yeah, it's very exciting. We're so close to our rainbow baby. after like we were in the waiting room just waiting to get the trigger shot done, I was texting my parents, obviously like letting them know the good news that everything was working out. And my mom actually texted me back and said that tomorrow, 25 years ago, I was conceived. So it's kind of like freaky how that happened. And then when we went to pay, the total came to like something 75 cents. So a quarter was left over, aka 25 cents, and they were scrambling to try and find it. And I said, it's fine, like don't worry about it, it's 25 cents. It's not like it's a huge deal. And as I was saying that, I'm like, oh my gosh, like the 25 again. So I'm hoping it's a good omen for us. The plan right now, like she gave me a call earlier saying that tomorrow morning at 8:30, Matt is scheduled to come in to give a sample, and then I have to go in at 10:30 for the actual IUI. They did say that there's a retrieval at 10 a.m., so if they run behind a little bit, it could be a little bit later. But it's definitely happening tomorrow morning, and it's so exciting. As well as, like, I just took, like, a pregnancy test, like, with the most diluted urine ever, and there was a line. It was so exciting. Like, just knowing that it's actually happening is just unreal, like, so unreal. I do plan to make a video separately about the actual trigger, just because this is already so long. Because I like to talk about, like, the actual experience, what I took, the side effects, all of that stuff when it's, like, actually happening. And then obviously I'll make a video tomorrow as much as we can about the actual IUI. So fingers crossed for us, please. Tomorrow is a huge day. Please, please think of us, and hopefully we'll have a great turnout for this. I'm actually really excited about this because it has worked out quite well for us, and I hope it continues to do so. Thank you guys for watching this like really long video, and I hope you guys enjoy everything about it, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. Bye guys!